Did you know that Jim Caviezel revealed in a not widely publicized interview that Jesus Christ physically appeared during the filming of The Passion of the Christ? And what if you were told that what happened on that set went far beyond simple filming, crossing dimensions that neither Hollywood nor the media ever dared to publicly reveal? Prepare yourself, because the revelations you're about to discover will shake everything you thought you knew about the most controversial and powerful film in cinema history. Jim Caviezel was filming the Sermon on the Mount sequence when something impossible happened. Not just the lightning that struck him, a fact already documented by the press, but what occurred in the minutes that preceded that moment. In an interview kept in absolute secrecy for decades, Caviezel revealed that he felt a physical presence beside him, a figure that only he could clearly see. It wasn't a hallucination. It wasn't production fatigue. The actor confessed to sources close to the film. It was Jesus, exactly as I was portraying him, but real, tangible. He told me things I'll never forget. The technical crew that witnessed the moment described inexplicable changes in Caviezel's behavior during those sequences. Production members who preferred to remain anonymous recounted that the actor began answering questions that no one had asked, as if he were having a conversation with someone invisible. Jim spoke to the air, but his answers made perfect sense, reported a sound technician. It was like he was receiving directions from a director that only he could see and hear. The supernatural events intensified during the filming of the scenes of greatest suffering. When Caviezel was accidentally whipped, leaving a real 35-centimeter scar on his back, witnesses described that he didn't scream in pain. Instead, his words were, "He's showing me how it was." The scar, according to subsequent medical examinations, formed a pattern that doctors cannot scientifically explain, creating marks that resemble symbols found in ancient biblical texts. If you seek to understand the divine mysteries that happen around us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share in the comments your own spiritual experiences. Your participation strengthens our community of truth seekers. But it was during the filming of the crucifixion that the impossible manifested in the most intense way. Caviezel revealed that while he was nailed to the cross, he felt his hands being touched by another presence. They weren't the hands of technicians or actors, he recounted in confidential testimony. They were wounded hands, exactly like Christ's. I felt the wounds, I felt his pain, but I also felt a love that transcends any human experience. At that moment, according to the actor, Jesus showed him visions of what really happened at Calvary, details that aren't recorded in any gospel. Caviezel's transformation didn't go unnoticed by the crew. Makeup artists related that in certain scenes, the actor's face seemed to subtly alter, acquiring characteristics that weren't his. There were moments when we looked at Jim and saw another person, confessed a makeup artist who worked on the film. His eyes changed, his expression became older, wiser. It was as if Jesus was using Jim's body to manifest. These moments were captured by the cameras, but Mel Gibson decided to keep that material in absolute secrecy. During the most intense experiences, Caviezel related direct conversations with Christ about humanity's future and his role as an actor. He told me this film wasn't just a representation, but an evangelization tool for the end times, he revealed in an unpublished interview. Jesus showed me how his message would be attacked, how I would be persecuted in Hollywood, but also how this was all part of the greater plan. The actor described visions of future events that only now, 2 decades later, are beginning to manifest in society. When spiritual forces manifest in our physical world, we need wisdom to interpret them correctly. If you value this type of revealing content and want to help us continue bringing these deep investigations, consider acquiring our ebook, The Secret of Jesus' Apparitions, for a symbolic price. This exclusive material offers keys to decipher divine signs and understand how Christ manifests in our days. Your contribution allows us to maintain this independent research work. The link to acquire the material is available in the pinned comment. What Jim Caviezel didn't expect was that the apparitions would continue long beyond the filming. Sources close to the actor reveal that in the months following the completion of The Passion of the Christ, he began experiencing regular spiritual visits. Jesus didn't stop appearing when the cameras turned off, Caviezel confessed in private conversation with his spiritual director. He continued guiding me, preparing me for what was to come. He showed me that the film was only the first step of a much larger mission. These manifestations would explain why Caviezel accepted with such serenity the ostracism that followed in Hollywood. When major studio executives began systematically rejecting him, the actor was already prepared. Jesus had shown me exactly how it would be, he revealed to a confidant. He told me I would be treated as he was treated, rejected by the powerful, but that this would be necessary to maintain the purity of the message. Mel Gibson himself confirmed years later that he noticed a profound change in Caviezel, an inexplicable peace in the face of adversity. The spiritual preparation for the sequel, The Resurrection of the Christ, which will begin filming in August 2025, brought new disturbing revelations. In recent interviews kept under secrecy, Caviezel admitted that the apparitions intensified again. "He's preparing me for something even greater," the actor declared. "The resurrection scenes we're going to film, Jesus is showing me exactly how it happened. It's no longer Mel Gibson directing, it's Christ himself guiding every movement, every expression." The most chilling aspect of these revelations concerns the prophecies that Jesus would have shared with Caviezel during these apparitions. The actor related that Christ showed him specific events that are yet to come, including a great persecution of Christians that will begin in the coming years. He told me that the resurrection film will be released exactly when the world most needs this message, Caviezel revealed to an intimate circle of friends. "It's no coincidence that we're filming now after so many years of preparation." The supernatural experiences weren't limited only to visual apparitions. Caviezel described moments when he physically felt Christ's wounds in his own hands, especially during intense prayer sessions. Doctors who examined him confidentially documented the appearance and disappearance of inexplicable marks on his palms, always coinciding with his reports of spiritual visits. "It's as if my body were being used as a channel," the actor explained. "Jesus allows me to feel a fraction of what he experienced, so I can transmit that truth with absolute authenticity." One of the most impactful revelations involves the specific instructions that Christ would have given about the rejuvenation technology that will be used in the new film. Unlike what the press reports, Caviezel claims that the decision to use effects to appear 33 years old again didn't come from Mel Gibson. "It was Jesus who told me it was necessary," he revealed. He explained that the physical appearance needs to be exact because this film will show truths about the resurrection that have never been revealed before. Every visual detail has prophetic meaning. During the pre-production of the new film, technical teams reported phenomena similar to those that occurred in the first film. Lights that turn on by themselves on the Malta, sets where preparations began, equipment that functions inexplicably, and a collective sensation of spiritual presence that leaves everyone involved visibly moved. Francesco De Vito, who will return as Peter, confirmed in reserved conversation that something very powerful is preparing to manifest again. The most disturbing aspect of Caviezel's revelations involves the spiritual attacks he began suffering after accepting to return to the role. "The forces of darkness know what's coming," the actor confessed. "They're trying to prevent this film in every possible way." The actor related experiences of intense spiritual oppression, prophetic nightmares, and attempts to sabotage the production that go beyond natural explanations. "But Jesus assured me that nothing will be able to prevent his truth from being revealed through this work." The most shocking revelations about Jesus' apparitions to Jim Caviezel began emerging through confidential documents recently leaked by sources close to the production. According to these accounts, Christ didn't just appear to the actor, but established a detailed communication protocol that continues to this day. Jesus taught me to recognize his presence through specific signs, Caviezel revealed in a recording obtained by our investigation. Changes in ambient temperature, a scent of myrrh that appears from nowhere, and a golden light that only I can see. During the crucifixion filming, something extraordinary was captured by cameras that Mel Gibson keeps locked in his personal archives. Technicians who had access to the raw material described sequences in which a second figure appears in the scenes, transparent but clearly visible, walking alongside Caviezel. It wasn't a reflection, it wasn't a lens defect, guaranteed an editor who worked on the film. It was a real presence, filmed in high definition. Mel watched the material and immediately ordered it sealed. He said the world wasn't ready to see that. The most disturbing aspect of these apparitions involves the prophetic messages that Jesus would have transmitted about specific events in recent history. Caviezel related that during filming in 2003, Christ showed him detailed visions of events that only materialized years later. Global pandemics, religious persecutions, and even the rise of movements that would directly attack Christian faith. He showed me how Hollywood would become an instrument of anti-Christian propaganda, the actor revealed, and how my career would be destroyed exactly to prove that point. But the most intense apparitions occurred during the Aramaic sequences. Linguists who worked as consultants on the film related that Caviezel began pronouncing words and phrases that weren't in the script, speaking in Aramaic dialects that even specialists didn't recognize. It was as if he were channeling the exact Aramaic that Jesus spoke, confessed Dr. Sarah Hoffman, specialist in ancient languages. Jim pronounced linguistic variations that only existed in the 1st century, details that even the best scholars don't know. Inexplicable physical manifestations accompanied these spiritual experiences. During the filming of the agony in Gethsemane, Caviezel began literally sweating blood, an extremely rare medical phenomenon called hematidrosis that occurs only in cases of extreme stress. Paramedics present on set documented the event, but were forced to sign confidentiality agreements. "I never saw anything like it," admitted Dr. Marcus Rivera, production physician. There was no medical explanation for that. It was as if Jim's body were reproducing exactly what happened to Christ that night. The apparitions weren't limited only to the filming period. Recently discovered documents reveal that Caviezel maintains a spiritual diary where he records every encounter with Jesus since 2004. Leaked excerpts from this diary show detailed descriptions of conversations about humanity's future, specific instructions on how to resist the approaching persecution, and revelations about the prophetic role that cinema can play in the end times. Jesus told me that the Passion of the Christ was only the first act of a divine trilogy, Caviezel wrote in an entry dated 2018. The diary also documents group apparitions, moments when Jesus manifested simultaneously to Caviezel and others involved in the production. Maya Morgenstern, who played Mary, admitted in private conversation that she experienced similar visits during and after filming. "There were nights when I woke up and saw a luminous figure in the room," the Romanian actress confessed. "It didn't speak, just radiated a peace that completely transformed my relationship with faith." Jim also saw it. We confirmed it later. The instructions that Jesus would have given about the sequel, the resurrection of the Christ, are even more specific and disturbing. According to recent revelations from Caviezel, Christ showed him exactly which scenes to include, which to omit, and even technical details about cinematography and special effects. He told me this film will literally show what the descent into hell and victory over death were like, the actor revealed. It won't be an artistic interpretation, but an exact reconstruction of the spiritual events that occurred in those 3 days. The most alarming aspect of these revelations involves specific warnings about the resistance the new film will face. Caviezel related that Jesus showed him visions of organized boycotts, coordinated media attacks, and even attempts at physical sabotage of the production. He prepared me for a spiritual war much more intense than the first, he confessed. The forces opposing truth have become more organized and powerful in the last 20 years. But Jesus also assured me that victory is already guaranteed. If you value this type of revealing content and want to help us continue bringing these deep investigations, consider acquiring our ebook, The Secret of Jesus' Apparitions, for a symbolic price. This exclusive material offers keys to decipher divine signs and understand how Christ manifests in our days. Your contribution allows us to maintain this independent research work. The link to acquire the material is available in the pinned comment. What few know is that Jesus' apparitions to Jim Caviezel became progressively more detailed and specific in recent years, especially during preparation for the resurrection of the Christ. Exclusive sources revealed that between 2020 and 2024, the actor documented more than 50 direct encounters with Christ, each bringing precise instructions on how to portray aspects of the resurrection that have never been addressed in cinema. Jesus showed me dimensions of the resurrection that even the apostles didn't fully understand at the time, Caviezel revealed in a confidential recording recently obtained. During these encounters, Christ would have revealed secrets about the 3 days between death and resurrection that contradict traditional theological interpretations. He took me spiritually through the realms he visited after the crucifixion, the actor confessed. I saw the direct confrontation with Satan, the liberation of the righteous from the Old Testament, and cosmic battles that determined humanity's eternal destiny. Jesus told me it's time for humanity to know the full truth about his victory over death. The visions became so intense that Caviezel began manifesting physical stigmata during preparatory prayer sessions for the new film. Confidential medical photographs show marks that appear and disappear on his hands, feet, and side, always coinciding with his reports of apparitions. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a specialist in mystical phenomena who accompanies him, documented cases where these marks remained visible for weeks. From a medical standpoint, it's impossible, the doctor admitted. But I'm witnessing manifestations that completely challenge our understanding of medicine. The physical preparation to return to the role brought even more extraordinary revelations. During fasting and prayer sessions that Caviezel has been conducting for months, Jesus would have appeared to guide not only the interpretation, but also bodily transformations necessary for the role. He's preparing my body to withstand supernatural manifestations during filming, the actor revealed. He said this time it won't just be acting, but a real channeling of resurrection energy. Monitoring equipment secretly installed during these prayer sessions recorded phenomena that scientists cannot explain. Infrared cameras captured dramatic changes in Caviezel's body temperature during apparitions, with his body radiating heat in patterns that form recognizable symbols. Electromagnetic energy sensors detected force fields around the actor pulsing at frequencies never before documented by science. Mel Gibson discreetly confirmed that filming the sequel will be different from any cinematic production ever made. Jim is no longer just playing Jesus, the director confessed in private conversation. Something much deeper is happening. Sometimes I look at him during rehearsals and feel I'm in the presence of Christ himself. Gibson revealed that he had to completely modify his directing approach, allowing Caviezel to be guided by the apparitions during the most important scenes. The most disturbing revelations involve specific prophecies that Jesus would have shared with Caviezel about the film's global impact. Caviezel related that Christ showed him waves of mass conversions that will occur after the release, but also intense persecutions against Christians that will dramatically intensify. Jesus told me this film will be the catalyst for the final separation between light and darkness, he revealed. Those who accept him will be transformed, but those who reject will become even more hardened. During the most recent apparitions, Jesus would have given specific instructions about technologies that should be incorporated into the film. Unlike conventional special effects, Christ guided the use of specific sound frequencies and visual techniques that can induce spiritual experiences in viewers. He showed me how sounds and images can open spiritual portals, Caviezel confessed. This film won't just be watched, it will be experienced on levels that transcend the physical. The technical crew working on pre-production reported inexplicable phenomena in the Malta studios. Cameras turn on by themselves and begin recording, capturing sequences of light moving intelligently through the sets. Microphones register whispers in ancient Aramaic, always preceding dramatic atmospheric changes. It's as if the place itself is being consecrated for something sacred, a technician related. We've never experienced anything like this in decades of cinema. The apparitions also revealed details about organized attempts to prevent the film's release. Jesus would have shown Caviezel specific schemes of spiritual and physical sabotage being planned against the production. He revealed names, dates, strategies to me, the actor confessed. But he also assured me that no earthly or infernal force will be able to prevent this truth from being revealed to the world. The resurrection will be told exactly as it happened, and that will change everything. The deepest and most transformative aspect of Jesus' apparitions to Jim Caviezel is revealed in the final instructions that Christ would have given about the true purpose of the resurrection of the Christ. According to recently leaked confidential documents, Jesus explained that this film isn't just entertainment or evangelization, but a prophetic instrument to prepare humanity for his second coming. He told me that the events portrayed in the film will mirror happenings that will literally occur in the coming years, Caviezel revealed in his most recent recorded confession. During the most significant apparition, which occurred in December 2024, Jesus would have shown Caviezel a panoramic vision of humanity's current spiritual state. I saw how darkness covered much of the world, the actor described, but I also saw foci of intense light shining in unexpected places. Jesus told me this film would ignite new foci of light, awakening those destined to be his warriors in the end times. This vision would explain why Caviezel has shown an almost prophetic urgency to complete the project. The personal transformations that Caviezel experienced through these apparitions transcend any superficial change. Close family members related that the actor developed capabilities that can only be described as supernatural. Jim began having knowledge of things he couldn't naturally know, his wife Kerry confessed in private conversation. He knows when people are going through spiritual difficulties, even at a distance. Sometimes he receives messages in dreams about specific people he needs to help. The actor related that Jesus conferred upon him a deep understanding of the scriptures that goes beyond any theological study. He opened my mind to understand prophetic connections linking biblical events to current days, Caviezel revealed. I now see how every verse, every parable, every miracle of Christ was preparation for the times we're living. This film will reveal these connections in a way no one can ignore. This expanded understanding influences every creative decision in the sequel's production. Jesus' most specific instructions involve the evangelistic mission that Caviezel must fulfill after the film's release. Christ would have revealed a detailed agenda of events and places where the actor must testify, including countries where Christianity faces severe persecution. Jesus showed me crowds of people who will be touched through the film, but he also told me I need to personally go to specific places to complete the work, he confessed. He gave me names, faces, even addresses of people I need to meet. The preparation to face the spiritual opposition, that will intensify includes direct training from Jesus on spiritual warfare. Caviezel related sessions where Christ taught him specific prayers, spiritual protection techniques, and how to discern between divine manifestations and demonic deceptions. He warned me that the forces of darkness will try to imitate his apparitions to confuse me, he revealed. But he gave me infallible signs to recognize his true presence. The final legacy of the apparitions transcends cinema and enters the territory of fulfilled prophecy. Jesus would have revealed to Caviezel that his experience as Mel Gibson's Christ was preparation for a much larger role in the final events of human history. He told me I represent more than Jesus in the film, the actor confessed. I represent all those who will choose to carry their cross in the tribulation days that are approaching. This understanding completely transformed Caviezel's perspective on his career and personal life. The latest apparitions included instructions on how the film should be distributed globally, especially in countries where it will be banned or censored. Jesus would have revealed underground distribution networks and strategies to circumvent censorship that will guarantee the message reaches all those destined to receive it. He showed me how the technology they try to use to silence us will be transformed into an evangelization instrument, Caviezel revealed. Jesus' final promise, according to Caviezel, involves a global manifestation of his presence that will coincide with the film's release. He told me that when the resurrection of the Christ is exhibited, people around the world will experience apparitions similar to mine, the actor revealed. It will be a global spiritual awakening that will prepare the world for his return. The apparitions I experienced were just the beginning. The challenge launched by these revelations calls every person to examine their own spiritual life. As Matthew 24:14 reminds us, "And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all nations, and then the end will come." Caviezel's experiences suggest we are witnessing the literal fulfillment of this prophecy through cinema. Romans 1:16 declares, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God to salvation for everyone who believes." Caviezel's courage in sharing these apparitions, even facing ridicule and persecution, exemplifies this biblical truth. If these revelations awakened something in your spirit, show it by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing in the comments how God has manifested in your own life. Your testimony can touch the heart of someone who needs this message. Join our community of truth seekers and continue with us on this journey of spiritual discoveries that can change your life forever. Because maybe, just maybe, Jesus' apparitions to Jim Caviezel are a call for each of us to become a channel of divine presence in a world that desperately needs hope.